Good evening, Rashmi. How are you doing today?
Good evening. I'm good. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. What about you?
I'm doing excellently. I can't really complain. Life is being pretty kind to me. Everything is proceeding swimmingly, and yeah, everything is hunky dory on my end. I apologize for the tardiness. I got held back in the previous session. I don't ever like to unceremoniously, culminate our sessions with any learner because I want this is a spoken English session. I want the conversation to have the flow and the cadence of a certain natural quality to it, and I want to end it, kind of in a spontaneous manner. And that is why sometimes, I get late to my sessions. I'll try to compensate for the lost time at the end of the session also, right?
No problem. No problem.
So, Rashmi, I think we are seeing each other for the first time or meeting each other for the first time. We've never had the privilege to speak to each other before. So, in the interest of observing customs, let us get acquainted with each other a little
Yeah,
bit
sure.
before proceeding with the session. So, I would like to introduce myself first briefly,
Yeah.
and then I would hand over the dais to you. You can tell me a few details about yourself as well. Right?
Right. Right. Right.
Okay. So as you already know, my name is Abhishek Priyadarshi. I have been a communications coach and an English instructor for more than a decade now. I come from a small town in the state of Bihar, and in my leisure time, I love listening to Hindi classical music. A little bit of Bollywood music is also thrown in the mix. I like to dabble in music also, and basically meeting and interacting with people hailing from diverse cultural and professional backgrounds. That's also a keen interest of mine, which gets satiated here quite often because I get to see new faces like yours. I get to hear new perspectives, fresh stories on a regular basis. So it's exceptionally rewarding in that sense. And that's all about me, really, apart from the fact that I'm pretty glad to be your tutor for the evening. And whenever you feel like, you may do the honors now.
Yeah, sure. Sure. So thank you so much for. I just
My
love to
pleasure.
introduce myself. As you know, my name is Rajni Singh, and I hail from a beautiful state of Uttar Pradesh near Varanasi. And I hold an MSc and PhD degree. I'm working as an assistant professor in a college, and I have been in this job for past 15 years in different colleges. And I am, along with that, I'm mother to two lovely kids as well as I'm running a YouTube channel. Recently, I have started it, and I'm involved in the taking these conversational sessions with people who are from different cultures and backgrounds. So, similarly, like you, I also love to talk to such people who are from different backgrounds and culture because it gave me an opportunity to knowing about themselves, and in that process, I learn a lot from them as well. So that's pretty much about me. Thank you so much.
Magnificent. Very well done. You aced it. So, what is your? You kind of piqued my curiosity there. I'm a little bit intrigued about what kind of content you create on YouTube. It's also about communication.
Yeah, it's like initially when I started my channel, it was more based on the shorts like reels to sharing some kind of like common mistakes and tenses and content related to English improvement. And slowly and gradually, I learned to upload videos which are like my solo videos where I give the tips to how you can improve your English language as well as so during that process, I have I known about there are some people who are also making these conversational videos. So I just wanted to learn more. So I interacted people and then I started uploading those videos. In that process, when I go into that conversational sessions, I found myself I have to improve more because when it's about the some you have to talk about some topics, then sometimes I feel like I'm getting stuck and I don't have much idea how to share my thoughts. I have everything in my mind, but sometimes the words, proper words, I'm just struggling with those words. So I just seen some of the videos of the English Yaari on YouTube channel of different YouTubers, and then I just one that time I just joined those English Yaari sessions to improve my English so that I can improve myself as well as when I'm making the content. I also want to be expert of that subject because I'm a biology teacher. I'm not an English teacher, but
Uh,
yes, I just wanted to be what kind of problem which I am facing. If there would be an expert tip, I can improve and I can share my thoughts and ideas. uh,
I was
in a,
about to
in a
ask you
better way.
actually, like, what subject are you an expert of?
I
Where
am
exactly
zoology.
do you work right now? In which university? Would I know of this university?
Yeah, yeah. I can't tell you much about that, but yes, I am a zoology teacher, and it's a college which is affiliated to Bundelkhand University in Jalon, in UP.
Okay, okay, magnificent. So this is, as far as I understand, this is your first session, like after your demo session, is it?
No, it's not my first session. It's like I think it's a 15th session. I have in July I have
Right.
joined, and but I am not very you can say not consistent from the last 1 week, as I was under the weather and I was not feeling like to join somebody. So now I have started. Yesterday it was
Well, from the
it was Pulitzer, so I feel privileged to join, and it was really an interesting session, and really I learned a lot from him.
okay, so far, did you mention the name of a teacher because I could not hear you? Uh,
Nandkumar Gopalan
Nan-
sir. Yesterday I found that out.
Nandgopal. Yes, yes, yes. That, he is an absolute veteran of the industry. He's a
Yeah.
remarkable fellow and
I
a
would
treasure
say
trove of
each and
knowledge.
every teacher is an expert in this platform I have seen, because when you
Hmm.
have a mentor and they just point out where you are actually lacking, where you can improve. That is a better way, because in general talkings, we never no nobody can point out, and nobody wants to point out your mistakes. So we just continue with those mistakes. So I found that pretty good in this platform, where I have an opportunity to know about my mistakes, and I can work on that mistakes.
That's true. If you are sure-footed in your delivery, if you can conduct yourself with a certain degree of aplomb, with confidence, basically, right? Most of the people in India would not even realize if you make certain, inconsequential or insignificant mistakes. Most of them would be negligible, even if people did actually, notice them, did actually triangulate one or two here and there. And again, in the interest of propriety, in the interest of proper social etiquette, most people, even if they some people, if they even figured out that you were making a mistake, would not be so impolite, to actually point it out to you.
Yeah,
So
they get
that
intimidated.
is,
Yeah, right, right.
I wouldn't say intimidated. I would say, like, again, they are just don't want to be discourteous, right? They don't.
Mm,
Why unnecessarily? Why create friction, right? If
yeah,
somebody's
right.
and if somebody is doing a bang up job for the most part, right?
Mm,
And so it kind of shows your tendency also that you are a nitpicker, right? You are the devil's advocate. You are trying to find something wrong with the person who is doing a
mm,
pretty good job,
mm,
for the most part, right?
right,
So
right.
people don't want to come off like that
Yeah,
also in front of
and
others.
also English is our second language, and so it doesn't matter much. Okay, you are making little mistakes, and those mistakes are anybody's always pointing out. But it's better to be if you have to know your mistakes and you are going to improve them. It is a better way. It is a better approach. And if you are on a platform where you are teaching English, that like
Mm.
I'm starting a YouTube channel, I have started and I'm working on that. And if I will make mistakes and I've realized that I'm making mistakes, then I really want to be improved more, because I want to be an expert. Then I go to tell people. People will say she's not knowing and she's here to teach us. So
Even if
that
they
is
don't
one
say,
thing.
once you are on the pedestal, once you acquire the position of being, a communications coach, you're teaching people, it is incumbent upon you, as a social responsibility to kind of
Mm,
vet everything that you know before passing it along to unsuspecting
yeah.
learners
Mm,
who don't have the necessary tools to basically evaluate and scrutinize if there are any mistakes. Because as a teacher, most of the ardent students, they will take you at your word. They will not find
mm,
fault with you. Like they will simply incorporate whatever knowledge that you
yeah.
give them, and it will be
Especially
your
the
fault. You
people
will
on
be
beginners level,
constantly.
especially if they are on the beginners level. That
Surely, even if they might be on an advanced level, what I happened in my corporate experience, for example, what I found out was the CEOs and managing directors of these huge corporations don't always have very exceptional or outstanding communication skills, but they have this kind of aura of like they command the respect and the uh, the regard of so many people, the way that they conduct themselves, the way that they articulate their ideas, even if they make some mistakes, some people, even if they actually figure out that they are making a mistake, they start questioning their own knowledge. Okay, because
Mm.
he is the CEO, so he would not make a mistake. Maybe I know something wrong. Maybe there are gaps to
Right,
my
right.
knowledge, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
it definitely applies to a teacher also. I have found out.
More moral responsibility.
Yes, you need to
Mm.
be meticulous. You need to be,
Mm.
conscientious with what kind of
Conscientious. Yeah. Right,
information
right.
you kind of
Mm.
put out there, right? Which will be,
Mm.
again, uh, it will be consumed voraciously by so many people out there, right? And
Right.
you will be conscience stricken. I was in my journey as an educator. I often found myself, beating myself up for doing the same, for making those kinds of mistakes, for having those foibles, if I did not have, so like earlier I used to be overconfident. I can admit
Mm.
to that, I can concede to that. So I used to think that whatever I'm saying is almost always right. I did not always
Mm.
cross check my knowledge. But later, I started realizing that I am also a human.
Yeah.
I might have a little bit of
When
advantage over
when we
other
start
people.
interacting with people, then only we can
Yeah.
know. Yeah, initially, if everybody has that preconception, yeah, I have that knowledge, I am expert in this. But when you just confront people, na, then only you can know. So,
Yeah. So in
yeah,
my
I'm
case, it
looking
was
for
not
that
actually
only.
confronting people because I come from Bihar. Bihari people are not really known for their forte in English communication. I don't have a lot of people around me who can teach me. But yes, I watch a lot of English content, and sometimes you find out, okay, the pronunciation that you had been using for such a long time was actually
Mm,
wrong. The meaning
right.
that you thought of a particular word was wrong. Sometimes
Mm,
you just kind of Google the most common words and kind of check, cross refer, what your idea is as in relationship to the actual concept. So there,
mm,
through self exploration also, you can come to
mm,
this standpoint,
right.
right?
Right.
And yes, definitely. So first of all, I would like to say that I would never have guessed that you are a mother of two. You look like a student. You look like a very young individual. I would not never have guessed that you are a professor yourself. And you said you have 10 years of working experience.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you also seem to have a great amount of confidence. You also have a very sturdy foundations of vocabulary, of pronunciation. Of your pronunciation is mostly on point. Hardly, you miss a step here and there. And your sentence construction is also like almost immaculate. uh, but there are a few things that can be improved upon, as always. Perfection by design is unachievable,
Yeah.
so there will be
There's always
some
room for
gaps.
improvement, sir. There
Yeah.
is always room for improvement. Right, right. And
So
I'm looking forward for those things only on this platform because I
obviously, yeah.
know these things. Yeah.
and
Thank you so
and
much.
I would be remiss if I did not point it out to you, because it is a part of my designation. So it's a part of my job description, right?
Yeah, it's your job
So
actually. Yeah.
first of all, I think some tutors might have pointed this out already, that you
Mm.
speak at a very fast pace. Has
Yeah.
anybody told you that?
Yeah, yeah, a
No.
little more speed. Yeah. Actually, when I started my YouTube, I was initially at earlier days, started very fast on a very fast pace, but now I have maintained a slow pace. And sometimes I deliberately try to speak like I, as you have pointed out, and now I'm just deliberately speaking slowly. And now I'm just including, or you can say this, in my behavior, in my speaking style, I have to go slow.
Yeah, you have to have a conscious reminder to yourself to take it easy, to
Mm.
proceed, in a more sure-footed way. Generally, what happens, people with a high rate of speech, it usually masks a proclivity of hyperactivity of brain. So what I'm trying to
Mm.
say is, people who have very hyperactive brains generally speak faster, right?
Fast.
So it shows it's a yardstick of your intelligence, basically, but it is an impediment in communication, right? Because
And sir, in this journey, I have also learned one more thing, which is very important. I would say, if I haven't started my YouTube channel, I will never understand that. I will never get that. That when you're speaking slowly, people get time to process what you're saying, and
Yes,
you're speaking very fast. It's very difficult for
exactly.
them to process what you're saying. So I
I
love
used
that.
to have a very high rate of speech as well. But
Mm,
then, after joining English Yaari, I found out it was very difficult for a lot of learners to follow my chain of thought.
mm,
So it behooves you, it is incumbent upon you to kind of make
mm,
your whatever knowledge, whatever you are imparting, right, in the
mm,
conversation, to
mm,
make it as easily digestible and processable to the person in front of you. Another
mm,
thing I think is if you speak in a more self-assured manner, in a more leisure at a more leisurely pace, right, its impactfulness also, the impactfulness of your speech also kind of exponentially increases, right, it surges basically.
mm,
Most of the most accomplished eloquent speakers around the world, if you see, none of them you would find that they speak in a in a
very fast pace.
yeah,
Mm,
in a fast pace.
mm,
They, what it comes off is as if you are in a rush.
mm,
That is the sentiment being conveyed with that
mm,
kind of speech. And you don't want to rush the other person, right? You, again,
mm,
as you mentioned, you want the other person to imbibe everything
mm,
that you're getting across. So that is
mm.
one thing. You might have adjusted, you might have fine tuned your
Yes, yes,
speech
yes.
pace.
Now I am working on it, and now I'm working on it, and I'm really happy to maintain that. And but sometimes it's like when you ask me question, I just wanted to. It happens to me. I just wanted to share everything at a one time, and that time I just get a little nervous to tell everything at a time. Then I just forget about what I have to keep a slow pace. So now I'm deliberately trying to maintain that slow pace.
It's a force of habit, basically.
Hmm.
You have been
Yeah, and
accustomed
it's very
to.
difficult to change your habits. So it's very good to be imbibe good habits from the first day. As you
For
say,
sure.
as you said, sometimes it comes with the pronunciation. The same problem with me because I'm also from the UP, and in the schools there, even if you're in the English medium school, there were some teachers they pronounce few words like in their own way, and it is not even British accent, it is not even in American accent, and you just imbibe that accent in your brain, and now you are just like a word I really pronounce it wrong, like hesitation. I used to say it hesitation, and it was like
Yes.
somebody has pointed out, no, 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 you have to say it hesitation. So like hesitation, and it was from the very earlier days. Now I'm just, yeah, deliberately. I'm also nowadays I'm doing this. I go to Google, what to say, Google Sound, and I just check the pronounce how to pronounce this word in American accent and in the British accent.
Yeah, these kind of tools were not available to our teacher back in the day,
Mm,
right? So we
that
kind of
time.
enjoy a certain
Mm,
leg up. We have a
mm,
certain edge, and privilege
right.
in those
Yeah.
regards. So we have so many avenues that we can exploit to better our diction and our
Mm,
cadence and our style of delivery as well, right? Another thing that I mentioned that I noticed was you have this habit of whenever you are using two plus a verb, right? Generally, what happens after two, you know what an infinitive is. I think you might know what an. I assume you would know what an infinitive is. It is two plus the
infinitive.
verb. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't have that specific knowledge about that. I think
Okay.
to be something like when something
Yes.
is coming
To
to
run,
bring.
yes, to bring, to eat, to frolic, whatever. Okay, so
Mm,
after two you generally use v1. So I have noticed this tendency because you did this two times, so I thought that this might be a recurring issue with you. First of
okay.
all, you said that we have an opportunity to knowing. Okay, so you have this tendency of using after two you used v4, right, the continuous form of verb. After that you also made when talking about your YouTube channel, you said I want to sharing some I did not write the entire sentence, but you said this, to sharing some common mistakes. Okay,
Mm,
so if you look at the
context.
playback of the no if you look
Mm,
at the session recording later, then you
mm,
might find the exact sentence that you spoke, but you definitely said this, to sharing some common mistake. So again,
mm.
after two you should use to share. I want to share, not to
I want
sharing, right?
to- Yeah, yeah. I
So
will. I will
in
not
very few
remember.
instances,
Mm,
actually, you use 2 plus V4. For example, one of the most common ones I can think of is looking forward to seeing you or meeting you. That is only, it is an exception to the rule where
To
you
see.
actually
Okay.
looking forward to meeting you, right? So
Mm.
there only and a few other exceptions. This is the most common one that comes to the forefront of my mind right now. But there are
Okay.
certain others. But the general rule is, thumb rule is, after two you should use V1, right?
Okay.
And another small mistake, again, kind of insignificant, but still to an English teacher, it is of a little import. So whenever you are talking about the name of a place, right? You said I am also from the UP, right?
Mm.
So proper names don't carry articles ever, right?
Okay.
If you have a country, for example, where
Mm.
in the name itself there is the, like the UK or the United States or the Netherlands or the Philippines, a couple of examples only that you can count on your fingers, right?
Mm.
Apart from that, any name of a place, any province, anything, you will never add any. You should never add any article to it, right? I am from UP, not from
Okay.
the UP, right?
Okay.
So yeah, very small mistakes you made today. I
Mm.
had to point them out, but other than that, you did a pretty stellar job. I think you still need to tone down your pace of speech a little more,
Mm.
or to
Mm.
make it more conducive for the other
Mm.
person to understand and be able to process simultaneously what you are actually saying. I don't have a problem with it because, again, I am a communications coach, right? So, and I used to speak pretty fast also, and I watch a lot of South Park. So,
Mm.
in these kinds of, the rate of speech is very high in certain
Mm.
cartoon animation shows.
Yeah, right,
So I
right.
can process all of that. But a lot of people would find it very arduous, very daunting,
Mm.
to be able to follow your chain of thought. So I would
Mm.
like you to bring it down,
Okay.
even no one notch more if possible, right?
Okay.
That would be
So,
extremely
would you please make a sentence when how to use the to after to how to use the to be or what you are mentioning?
very simple. Like, I wanted to eat a pizza, right? You can not say that I wanted to eating a pizza, right? I
Mm.
have to go to the washroom, right?
Mm.
I have to going to the washroom, you can't say that. So generally
Mm.
whenever you see to plus a verb, in all the instances that you can think of, even if you want to create a sentence right now, you will see that this is a ubiquitous rule. This is a kind of universal law, right?
Yeah.
That can be found everywhere
But
whenever you say,
that
construct a
the
sentence.
right sentence would be I was looking forward to meet you.
Uh, Here, there is an exception. In this particular context, there is an exception. I'm
What?
looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah, so I have used that actually. I used that time. It's to meeting you. When I was making the sentence, I was talking to you. At that time, I have used that. So maybe because of that, in back of my mind, there
Could
were
be,
few sentences like
could be.
that.
Yeah, definitely that could be true.
So why
But
it's an exception, okay? It's an exception.
yeah,
Exception.
that is the exception, right, to the rule.
Mm,
So that you cannot follow that as an example, right?
mm.
As a universal
So,
law, every
would you
time.
please give me some quick tips to improve English? Some
So
quick tips
you
for our
told
listeners.
me that you have a little bit of an issue with coming up with the apropos terminology while referring to an idea or while trying to articulate a certain idea or notion in your brain. You find that to be an impediment. You find that to be a hurdle sometimes, right? So what I would like you to do is, again, what I do as most of the times I live in Bihar. I don't have a lot of people who can teach me English, right? Who teach me something new about the language. So all of my vocabulary, for example, that I try to incorporate in my organic interaction, it comes mostly from watching English content. And
Mm,
you need to have a kind of a different kind of lens. Most people, what they do when they watch English content, if they encounter some new word which they might have a vague idea about, maybe, but if
mm,
they are not
mm,
100% sure about it, they don't bother to actually cross refer whether their knowledge is correct or not. They try to gauge the meaning from the context itself and then proceed with their amusement of, we
mm,
generally watch videos for recreation purposes. So people don't often want to interrupt that immersion into the content. You don't want to pause the video, where a lot of people find it very cumbersome to do that.
yeah,
So
because
so
there
I
is a
used to do the same, but
mm,
I took it upon myself to change this habit, because again, it was not clement for acquiring new vocabulary, and I started